As 2021 comes to a close, I got the chance to sit down with Winnipeg Mayor Brian Bowman and his wife Tracy to reflect on the past year and what they hope to bring into 2022. Mr. Mayor and Tracy, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. As you both reflect on the past year, what was 2021 like for you?
This year has been a story of resilience by our community. We've done what we always do as a community, and we're weathering the storm together.
We're entering our second COVID-19 Christmas, now over a year and a half into this pandemic. Vaccines have dominated topic of conversation over the past year. Majority of Winnipeggers and Manitobans have rolled up their sleeves, getting the jab, but not all have done so. On Monday, the City of Winnipeg expanded its COVID-19 vaccine requirement to now apply to all city staff. Of the 5,500 city staff currently required to be vaccinated, approximately 97% are fully immunized, while 175 staff are subject to regular testing. Currently, there's 12 staff on unpaid leave for failing to comply with the program. Mr. Mayor, what all went into making this decision, and how important of a decision was it?
This is one way, among others, that we're doing our part to encourage vaccinations throughout our community. And I would just say to those who haven't received their vaccines yet, listen to science, listen to evidence, and go get your vaccine. It's one way in which we can get to the other side of this pandemic together.
So it would really be nice for, everybody, as many people as possible getting vaccinated. Our youngest has had his first vaccination, which is wonderful. And just hopefully trying to get back to those activities where we all are able to enjoy and be around people that we love.
The discovery of unmarked graves at former residential schools across the country was shocking and an eye-opener for many Canadians who didn't really know the extent of what the Canadian government did to Indigenous children and families. Back in July, former Premier Brian Pallister made controversial comments regarding colonialism following the takedown of statues at the Legislative Building. Mr. Mayor, you were quite vocal about this, and as we move forward into the new year, what will you do to help further reconciliation?
Well, we're going to continue down our journey of reconciliation as a municipality, and we have our Indigenous Advisory Circle. We've also, I think, the most substantive thing that we've been doing is the Indigenous Accord. So Winnipeg's Indigenous Accord is not only something that we're doing at the city, but we're trying to create that ripple effect of positive change in our community by having organizations sign on to becoming partners to Winnipeg's Indigenous Accord. We're also, thanks to the leadership of our Deputy Mayor, Councillor John Arlico, looking at including Indigenous symbols within our council chamber, something that hasn't been done before. And we've been doing the treaty acknowledgement for 7 years. It's really good to see the province finally taking that step to doing that as well.
Mr. Mayor, you're quite vocal about the lack of communication from Mr. Pallister. He resigned in the summer, of course, and Kelvin Gertson assumed the position of Premier. Now, Heather Stephenson is Manitoba's first female Premier. What has the communication been like there, and has your relationship with the provincial government grown in the past few months?
Well, it's definitely been moving in the right direction. I've had the opportunity to work with 4 premiers during my time as mayor, and yeah, I mean, I think the manner in which the former premier conducted himself was a matter of public record, and I think it was equitable in terms of how he dealt with me and the Prime Minister and Indigenous leaders and many others throughout the community. Premier Stephenson has certainly been much more accessible, and for that, we were able to welcome her to City Hall to advance our longstanding ISIP requests to support the transit master plan, as well as the North End sewage treatment plant submissions as submitted by council. The North End sewage treatment plant matters to Winnipeg, but it also matters to the capital region. It treats about 70% of the sewage capacity in the city of Winnipeg. We have made available publicly reports from our public service that show that there's a limit to that capacity. And even if we were to begin construction of all of the phases right now, the clock is ticking, and my concern is that future development is going to have to be stalled.
Mayor Bowman, you announced back in October of 2020 that you would not be seeking re-election in 2022. We are now a week and a half away from 2022. What plans are in place for the Bowman household going forward?
I'll keep working until the final day of my mandate, and then I'll pursue other passions and other things. But right now, my plan is just to focus on the job that I have.
I don't know if I have anything to add. That's exactly the plan. Yeah, work to the very last second. He's in this role that we've been so grateful to be in.
Tracy, Mr. Mayor, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all the best in 2022.
Thanks, Alex. Merry Christmas to you and your family and all your colleagues.